Streaming. What's good, YouTube? How's everybody doing? This is your boy Reg in the building. Happy New Year to everybody. Got my home people. I got Try and Ash with me as always.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
That's right. And this is going to be a very special review today. It's going to be a review on Wu-Tang affiliate Shyheim with The Lost Generation, released in 1996. I want to say this was released on New Tribe Records. Yeah, I think that was a record label AZ was on it too. So yeah.
And
So,
Virgin Records?
you said Virgin Records?
Yeah.
Bet. All right. Okay, so the singles that was released was "This Is Real" and "Shaolin Style," featuring Squig. Producers include RNS executive producer, Jim McCorfield executive producer, Guy Rody. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. He's an executive. Motherfucking DR period, man. All my Smooth the Hustler, Trigger the Gambler heads, y'all should know about DR period. Peter Lord, the King of Chill, V, Jeffrey Smith, LES. You guys should know LES. All my Nas and AZ cats. Of course, RZA and Tone Capone. All right, so yeah, so you guys should know what I'm about to do. I'm just gonna ask y'all how y'all got into Shyheim's music. I'm gonna definitely start with Try on this one.
I actually met Shyheim in 1999. We used to have a summer like a summer beach festival out here called Greek Fest every summer during the 90s in Long Island on Jones Beach. And the first year I went was 1999, and I had met him because he was one of the performers on the beach on the concert. I believe Inspector Deck came with him as well because he had like people with him, and he had at that time he was the planned album for Man Child was supposed to come out, but it got shelved or something, and he was doing songs from the first album and from Lost Generation. And when he got off stage, I met him. He gave me a dap. But that wasn't the first time I met him. I actually met him in concert back in '96 when we had a concert in Harlem. The only free rap show we had in Harlem called Hoodstock. Back then we had Mayor Giuliani, Rudy Giuliani. He was the mayor, and he gave the city a free concert. I think it was back in June it happened, and unfortunately we never had one after that because at the end of the show, Wu-Tang performed, and Raekwon was on stage, and he told people to pull their guns out. So there's one cat that wasn't even from me. He was from like upstate New York. He pulled his gun out, started shooting in the air. It started a whole stampede.
Oh God.
People got injured, people got shot. It was on the news. Google it, you can look it up. And that was the last time we ever had a free rap show for the city. So on that show, Shaheem came out with Little Vicious. If people remember Little Vicious, the reggae dance artist,
Yeah.
he came out with right, Dougie Fresh discovered him. He came out with Little Vicious on that show because him and Little Vicious they did a song together. I think it was for Little Vicious album, and then they became friends, and they both were like running wild in the streets at that time. They both got incarcerated during the '90s or whatever, early 2000s. So I actually seen him perform live twice, but like just like watching Video Music Box, watching the Young TV raps, seeing the video for On and On from his first album, the Rugged Child. That was my introduction to him, and then like the stuff he's done with like GP Woo, and then through the years, with this album, we about to talk about Lost Generation and the Man Child album that got shelved or whatever, and he's done movies. He was in I forgot was it In Too Deep, the
Yes.
movie he did with Cool J. He was in that. He's done a lot of TV and movie stuff. So I've always been a fan of his. You know, with him coming up, and at that time in the early '90s, we had like a lot of the kiddie group, artists coming into the game like Illegal and Crisscross, and I was a big fan of Diz, and when Shyheim came in, I was a big fan of his because he had that instant um that instant fan base with Wu-Tang Clan. So anybody at that time that was coming out over that was even affiliated with Wu, I was checking for them, whether it was Shaheem or King Just or GP Wu, whoever. So I've always been a fan of his. Shout out to GP Wu. I actually got popped up on Hornet. He's been following me on my Instagram for like the past 2 years, and Wu Syndicate. So shout out to them. And I've always been a fan of Shaheem's music. So I think he's a talented artist. And that was mentioned to him.
Yo, that was a dope story and shit. A very dope story. And I heard about Hoodstock before. I never knew that Wu Tang story, but
Yeah, I was there with my cousin. Me and my younger cousin, we was there. My aunt, the same aunt that's the very same one that I talked about in the past. I had cancer in '05. She passed away. We had went to her job because she used to work in Harlem, and we had like the like her building was like right across the street from where they had it at. It was like right in front of the federal building in Harlem, and it it was a word of mouth type of concert. Like they just put it together like in a day or so because we didn't have the internet back then. There was no magazines or cell phones back then that was talking about it. So it was like a word of mouth through the street, and I heard about it from some friends, and then I was like, yo, I gotta go to this concert. A lot of the artists that was there are no longer with us. Like that's the only time I saw Biggie. Biggie was there. Because the whole Bad Boy camp was out there. Junior Mafia was out there. Little Kim, Puffy, Total, 112. I don't think Mace was out. Mace wasn't out. This was like '96. So that's the only time I saw Biggie. Pun was out there because he came out with Fat Joe. This is early Terror Squad too, because it was just Pun. Back then he was known as just the Punisher, and he came out with Fat Joe and Armageddon. Only time I saw Pun. And Aaliyah was there, but she never performed. She actually came out to talk to the crowd, and she was talking about how she was working on One in a Million. Cause that came out that same year in '96 or whatever. And she was it was '96 it came out, right? '96, '97.
'96.
She was talking to the crowd about working on her next album, One in a Million, and we didn't hear nothing yet from that album yet. Like, if your girl only knew it didn't drop yet. So she had came out. I remember everything she was wearing. Black Moon was there. Curtis One, Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh. It was a lot of people. The Fugees was still together at that time. '96 was when they came out with that classic score album. They were the actual host of the show, and they performed as well. The Roots was the live band,
Mm-hmm.
so they had the Fuji. Like imagine the Fugees doing like how many mics and Fuji Live with the Roots crew. So it was just a phenomenal show, and it just ended tragically because you have stupid people out here that want to carry weapons on them. They have no business carrying weapons, on foot. And we had babies and kids out there, and a lot of them got ran over because people want to act stupid and do what their favorite rap artists tell them to do. But I remember coming home that night, and I didn't get home that night. That day was hot. It was a hot day. It was like it had to be like 95, 90 degrees. I remember coming home with my cousin and my little cousin because I had a little cousin at the time that was at the babysitter, and we had to pick her up. And I think she was like maybe 2 or 3 at that time, and we had to pick up from babysitter. But after getting on the hot ass subway, and the trains were late because of that, and had all the cops was out there. And I remember coming home. I didn't get home until like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock that night, and turning on the news and seeing that as the first story, like seeing people running the street from gunshots because Raekwon told niggas to pull out your guns and start bucking off in the air or whatever. And it just ended tragically, but it's a concert that I'll always remember because it's the only concert here that was free for everybody to go see and just ended tragically. But Shyheim performed on that at Hoodstock with Little Vicious. So I saw him. That was the first time I saw him. And in 1999, I saw him again, and he performed songs from the show, the Man Child album, and other songs, whatever. But that was my introduction to Shyheim. I always thought he was like a talented artist, and he's always been. I think he's always been underlooked, and because we had a lot of Wu-Tang offspring artists and groups affiliated with them, so a lot of them unfortunately got overlooked or whatever. I think he was one of them, but I always thought he was a talented artist.
That's what's up. That's a dope story. What about you, Ash?
This was my first Shyheim album I've ever listened to. I know that he had an appearance in TLC's Waterfalls video. I remember that, and he was also in this movie called Original Gangsters with Pam Grier, Fred Williamson, Jim Brown, Richard Roundtree. I've seen that, and yeah. I know he had he did some film appearances and TV and all that stuff. But yeah, this was my first album I've ever listened to of his. So.
Okay.
But I didn't know about all that stuff, like with that whole concert thing, from what Try was saying, all that stuff happened. I'm like, dang, really? In a free show at that?
Yeah, the only free hip hop show ever that we ever had, and it ended in violence. So, but you can Google that, like that whole concert.
What year did that happen?
Oh, 96. That was I don't know the exact day. I know it was June '96, but it was very hot outside. It was we had like a heat wave going on. It was like 95 or 90 degrees that day. I remember everything. I had a white, remember Mecca, the clothing line. I had a white Mecca short sleeve zipper up shirt. Had some black denim shorts on and some Nikes. And I had just I just went to the bar. I got like a little free, and I had just pierced my ears that summer. And it was that hot outside, and I was like, yo, I didn't know nothing about the concert because I was like, again, it was word of mouth. We didn't know who was gonna be there, but it turned out to be a great show because there was a lot of legends right now that we like hold dear to us, that we talk about, like the Fugees, like the Roots, like Black Moon and Slick Rick and KRS One, that was at that very same concert. But what happened was Nas was supposed to end the show, and Nas didn't make it. So Wu-Tang, I don't know if Wu-Tang was planning on being there or if they just filled in for Nas. But when they got on, I remember seeing it was like 100 niggas on stage, and ODB was at that show. ODB got in the front row, and he had like some fight with a fan in the front row. And they were like the fight is going on while they're performing with Cream, while they're performing Can It All Be So Simple and Wu-Tang and the fuck or whatever. And the part where I remember Raekwon coming on. I don't know if he was doing like his own solo stuff, but I remember Raekwon coming on, and he went to the stage and he was like telling niggas, yo, bro, put your guns in the air, bust them shits off, and that's what niggas did, and that's what started the stampede. And a lot of people got hurt, a lot of people got injured, and we had kids and babies out there, and it was just a fucked up way to end a legendary show like that.
That's wild. Yeah, to me, I think I got into Shyheim when I heard him on the track Big Daddy Kane's Show and Prove, and that's no classic posse cut. I reviewed that album. I wanted to have reviewed it about last year or the year before. Yeah, I felt like he definitely had one of the illest voices and the illest verses on that joint right there and stuff like that. And so, excuse me, yeah, man, I didn't know like he done a lot of acting too and stuff like that. I know he appeared on this one episode of that Robert Townsend show, The Parenthood. I think it was the episode he appeared with Da Brat, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, yeah, man. So that's how I got into Shyheim. But yeah, man, Shyheim, man, he out of all the Wu-Tang affiliates, him and Killer Sin, man, definitely had like some of the most tragic outcomes in my opinion. He is a cousin of Ghostface, a rapper from Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? He's a Wu affiliate that he dropped his debut album, aka The Rugged Child, in '94. Which I like the album. It's a dope album, but to be honest, it's not like the first thing I'm gonna listen to when I think of Shyheim and stuff like that. There was some cool stuff. I just didn't like the high pitched voice he had at that time. But listening to it now, I fuck with the album and shit. What I call it a classic, I say it's like a cult classic. I won't say it's like a major classic, but y'all know what I'm saying. I feel like with this album and Takal definitely laid the groundwork for like a lot of Who albums to come, but that's another story for a different day. Um, and so like fast forward to like in '94, he really put his name out there because he was in the video, TLC's Waterfalls video, and around that time too, he was like I mentioned, he appeared on Big Daddy Kane's show Improve, the posse cut with I want to say Scuba Lover, Sauce Money,
Z was on.
yeah, Young Jay Z, ODB, Brooklyn Affair. And if you guys have read Jay Z's Decoded book, he said that he was influenced by Shyheim. I think that he had to rewrite his verse, and he originally was supposed to be on the song Coming of Age with Jay Z on the Reasonable Doubt album, but from what I've read, he couldn't make it to the studio at that time. So Memphis Bleak came, and the rest is history on that part.
I have that. I remember getting that book for that year for Christmas. I still got that book.
Yeah, I read it in the library and stuff like that. Very dope book too. Um, yeah, man. Fast forward to '96. He was getting to drop the Lost Generation. He was on. Oh, I forgot to mention. I think it was '94. He shared a stage with Biggie, Tupac, and Big Daddy Kane. I forgot in the classic legendary freestyle session on the Madison Square Garden. You guys should definitely know that was like one of the few times where Biggie, Pac, and Puffy was on stage together. Yeah, man. So also in '96, that's when he dropped the second album, The Lost Generation. Now, the reason why he called this album The Lost Generation, according to this one source article, is basically a term to describe the generation, that present generation of black youth who was lost through poverty, drugs, and violence and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying, in the inner city. So, I thought that was pretty interesting. Um, Guest appearances include Pop the Brown Hornet, pretty much the Wu affiliate GP Wu, which consists of members Pop the Brown Hornet, Down Low Recca, Rubber Bands, and June Lover. I know they dropped an album called Don't Go Against the Grain. I've never heard the album. You heard the album, Troy?
Yeah, it's dope. It's the same producer on that album, and he did a lot of the bulk of the production on this album as well. It's a dope album.
Yeah, I'm looking up now. Daddy O from Sonic fame executive produced this album too. So, yo, Daddy O, he definitely was an unsung hero in East Coast hip hop. I'm sorry, but some of the shit he did, I never knew he did. But that's another story for a different day. Um, yeah, GP Wu, you got Squig, my nigga Smooth the motherfucking Hustler, and Trigger the Gambler. Yo, speaking of Trigger the Gambler, I recently heard the unreleased 50/50 album from Trigger, man. That shit's fire. Like that song Bust. Oh my fucking god. Fuck Def Jam for shelving that album. They slipped with that one. I love Def Jam, but fuck them for shelving that shit. DV Elias Christ, Camilla Williams, Lamisha Grinstead, my man Killer Sin, Madman, and of course Raekwon. Alright, 14 tracks. Let's get this shit started. So, track number 1, Shit Is Real. Pretty solid way to start off the album and stuff like that. If you guys listen to a lot of Shyheim's music, you definitely know what you're getting into and stuff like that. braggadocio with that street lyricism and whatnot. Fucking dope ass track. Shit's real. I love the beat to it. That beat is so mid '90s and shit like that. Like the fucking production alone, it has that mid '90s East Coast winter feel to it, which I loved about the Wu around that time and shit like that. If only RZA would get back into that style of production, but that's asking for too much.
Only in the perfect world.
Right, right.
Oh, man. I love this song. Like immediately, it starts off the album. Love the track. I remember seeing the video for it a lot on Rap City, and love this joint. And it's real like a melodic, radio friendly club banger. And the lines where he says, "I'm on my P's and Q's. Try to put your foot in my shoes, kid. You gotta pay your fucking dues." Just a dope song, and it's a different sound for Shyheim. You know, his voice has matured between the first album and this one, and it was like a different single film. Coming from on and on, and I forgot the other joint he did with GPU on that first album, but it was a different sound for Shine. But I thought he killed it. I definitely think this is one of his best songs, and definitely a great way to start the album.
I agree.
This is my first time ever really hearing anything from Shyheim, and this song right here, it was a great way to start off the album, and this song just had me feel as if I went back in time of that during like the mid '90s, or like because of how big the sound was, and that feel good vibe that you get whenever you hear songs that just, I don't know, that makes you feel good, and that's what pretty much what this song was to me. It was a feel good track right here.
Okay. Alright, so that's Shit Is Real. Track number 2 we got is Dear God. Very, very, very dope track right there, Dear God. That track right there, that features Pop the Brown Hornet. I'm sorry, but I love the Wu Tang, but some of the Wu monikers, I'm sorry, are just it's like, what? Like Pop the.
I'm not saying nothing bad about Pop because he following me right now. I ain't saying nothing.
Oh, he follows you?
I'm good. With me, I ain't saying nothing bad about Wu. I'm good.
I mean, I love Wu, but some of the monikers, I just have to be like, how did you come up with that shit? Like, but I ain't saying nothing bad about Pop the because they all did their thing on this album. Yeah, Dear God, that's definitely a very dope track. I feel like just him praying to God, asking for like a better day and shit like that. Definitely love the usage of Snoop Dogg, that Snoop sample. The Murder Was the Case sample. Everyone knows that sample and shit. I love the line when Shyheim says, my family be calling me a loser. Mom, she's a user. Got me living life with no future. The only thing that keeps me striving is rhyming and bumping grinding. Besides, I feel like dying. Like, fucking lyricism at its finest, man. Like, you can tell he was trained under like Ghost and Raekwon and parts of, maybe just a little bit too, cause like the lyricism like on that nigga was just phenomenal.
And at that time, even at that time, we had rumors of ghost writers, especially for like the kitty artists like Chris Cross. Jermaine Dupri wrote their rhymes, and I even heard rumors about A Plus, but I never heard no ghost writing rumors for Shyheim. So I definitely feel like he everything he spit came from his pen, came from his brain, and he was, to me, he's underrated as a lyricist. And those lyrics he just quoted, like listening to those lyrics, it's like those lyrics are relevant even now. Like I feel like this generation is a lost generation, and a lot of them feel like that, especially when you have these artists now, like the Little Yachty's and the Migos, and the artists that talk about popping pills and doing coke and all that, and they're living. It's like life imitating art. They're living out what they're talking about, and they're dying, unfortunately, because of it. And a lot of these kids feel the way that these artists do, and I feel like the artists are like the voice for this generation. You know what I'm saying? And when you hear Shyheim, those lyrics is like that. That's how the generation was back then. I feel like that's how the generation is now, and something has to be done about that. But I like the song. I think it was a banging track, and like I like the bass line. The little back and forth play with him and Pop the Brown on it. I thought that was dope. I like the lines where Shine says, "I'm the first suspect in the projects. I got this fucked up rep that keeps me behind the steps." And he just talking about like he did a lot of that on this album. When he talked about like his battles with being incarcerated and being a young black man at that time, and that's just real shit. That's just what goes on in this country and with generations. So I definitely feel like those lyrics are like even relevant in 2020, and that's just a testament to his pen.
Yeah, yeah, man. Fucking Shyheim, man.
I feel that Dear God was pretty much a track that was not only just him talking to God, but as well as telling his, I guess, his life story in a sense. And it was a good song between him and Pop the brown face.
The
Okay,
brown hornet.
I'm not doing that. Oh god, my bad, y'all. Like, yeah, yeah. It's just, yeah. I'm not too familiar with him, with the guy who's featured on this track either. No, my bad on that. But still, it was a good song, and it does make you think. It makes you think of certain things what he was talking about in the song, and I agree with Try, like with nowadays this just so-called generation listening to this garbage right now and polluting their ears and all that. It's not real music at all. Not like this. And I do feel that they are lost in a sense with that as well. So
Mm.
yeah, Dear God was another favorite track of mine off this album. So.
I agree. Very well said by both of y'all. Um, Next track, fucking Jiggy coming. Woof. Another ill ass track. That track. I want to say with that track, he's talking about police brutality. Yeah. Okay, okay. He's talking about like police brutality in the inner city youth, but at the same time, it's pretty much a dedication to his friend Case, and Case was pretty much like a friend of like the Wu Tang and stuff like that, and a lot of people in the Wu mentioned him in his lyrics, and he was basically killed by an officer named Donald Brown in '94 and stuff like that. So pretty much it was like a cautionary tale yet dedication, which is one of my favorite songs off this album. Very dope track. Very personal song right here. Um, yeah, man. Just I love the one he talking about. And Mayor Giuliani, that cracker boy, full of shit. I represent for all my niggas doing time and those who got beat up and killed by the swine. Like he just goes in on this joint. Like pretty much maybe my second or third favorite track off this album.
Right. Yeah, that I think that was actually depicted in the Wu Tang American Saga on Hulu.
Yeah,
Cause they had a friend that he was cool with like Ghosts, and he was like a drug dealer. He was like giving Ghosts and RZA like bricks to sell, and they were in the scene. They were in like the basketball. They were playing basketball or something in like the front of the projects, and like he said some shit to the cops, and the cop ran up on him and like put him in like a illegal chokehold and shit.
yep,
So they basically um RZA was like in his window, and RZA basically like watched him die, and nobody did anything about it. They just stood there and watched him die. So that part I remember from the Hulu show or whatever. I didn't thought the beat was okay. It wasn't a great beat, but I definitely feel what Shyheim is saying on that about police brutality and stuff. That's still a relevant thing that goes on in this day and age. I've been stopped by the cops. I've never been brutalized by the cops, but I've been stopped by the cops for the color of my skin, just for minding my business. So I definitely know what black men go through in this country when they get stopped by a popo for no reason at all. And I definitely I like, I don't know, Shyheim sounded kind of high. Was it just me? I think he sounded high on this song. I don't know. He just sounded like he was in the days on this song. But I definitely feel what he's saying on the track though. It's definitely like a track that needs to be heard.
Yeah, I definitely get what you're saying on both parts about I think I remember that scene on YouTube on the American Cycle, which I'm gonna put it out there. I was really too big a fan of that. I didn't like pretty much the cast. I thought it was kind of, it just seemed half-assed to me. It didn't really. If you guys
Yeah,
want to clear,
it was.
yeah, if you guys want like a best representation of the Wu, watch the documentary of Mike's and Men. That's like the best representation of the Wu and shit like that. And fuck that other documentary that came out in '08, '07. Didn't care for that one either. But yeah, man. And regarding if he was high during this album, he did kind of sound high on a lot of songs. Cause I feel like with this album, with the beats, he was like more relaxed in some of these songs too. So I definitely see what you're saying with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this song is pretty much self-explanatory about police brutality, which of course is still relevant now. And I did not think he sounded high off this song. I don't know why y'all thought that. Maybe it's just me. I didn't think he was high while doing this song. So, but yeah, it was pretty much a good song here. Pretty much telling the story, and pretty much that he really doesn't care too much for police in general. That's pretty much what I got from this song.
Yeah, man. Very dope track, man. That's like the third straight dope track off this album. Now, Five Elements, man. With Down Low Record, June Lover, Pop the Brown Hornet, and Rubber Bands. Now, this is definitely a very dope Wu Posse cut. Um, they all went in on this track. I want to say people who had the best verse, I want to say was definitely Shyheim and Rubber Bands, in my opinion. Um, yeah, very dope track right here. I love the line when Rubber Band says, I bring drama to your earpiece when I bust. Rap niggas collapse, in fact turn to slush. It only takes a second to die. It only takes a minute to get high. Like, simple, but I like the way he just said that shit, Very dope track, Five Elements.
Oh yeah, dope, really dark, grimy beat. It has like an eerie, like horrific melody to it.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. GP Wu, like all those members seem to like gel well together, like Rubber Bands and Download Record, Pop the Brown Hornet, Shyheim. They all seem to gel well together. Love this song. I actually like Pop Brown. What's his face? They I like his verse. He said bring it. I got something for you. When I make niggas die from paranoia, sure shot, play yourself, get got, forget me not, or I'll be running shit in the spot. Just a dope verse from him. He did his thing as well, and I thought Rubber Bands killed it as well. Definitely a solid posse.
Yeah, man. Very dope posse cut right there.
Yeah, Five Elements was another favorite song of mine from here too. I guess everyone really had their moment to shine off the song, and it it does give you like those dark eerie vibes when you do hear it, and I don't know what it is. It just took me to a different place with that, and it was a pretty much a very dope song.
Yeah, definitely agree with you on this one. I'm not gonna say it's an underrated Wu Posse Cup, but I definitely would feel like it needs a little bit more respect than what it deserves. Alright, now, fucking Shaolin Style featuring Squig. Oh my god! By the way, R&S, he produced the first 4 tracks on this album. By the way, and this one was produced by Les. This is actually my favorite song off this album, man. Um, I love that Patrice Russian sample. Definitely has that mid '90s New York feel to it, like that beat that dun 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 dun. Ooh, man, that shit just It's a feel good kind of beat and shit like that. So many dope quotables, man. Both him and Squig did their thing. Like fucking Shyheim saying, "It be the sense and Hennessy that make me act like this. I'm wild hitting up project style, never plead the fifth. Like regardless to the charges, chicken heads will be at court fighting and slicing each other to see who lies at my fort." Like, whoo, Jesus. And then Squig came out, facing 2-5 to life, incarcerated, activated, stressed behind a cell with no way to escape it. Holding on true to ox steel, trying to appeal, be landed without a bail. So let the compassionary reveal. Like they both, I don't even know who had the better verse. They just both went in, and then the fact that they used that Method Man METH OD sample, like that just laid it out there. And the video too was dope. It had the black and white video was dope as hell too. Shaolin Style, definitely my favorite track off this album.
Oh yeah, that definitely one of my favorites, and a real melodic track with the banging beat and the bass line, and like you said, the Patrice Russian sample, love that, and the video complements the songs, like you see like the black and white video in New York City in Shaolin, and Shaolin got his hair blown out with the afro, and he got
Yep.
like the football jersey on, and the gold chain, and Method Man chilling in the video, chewing on his straw. Just a dope song. I love the Method Man sample. Wild Shaolin style is calling me. Child, the whole damn album is calling the fire joint. What's his name? Squig.
Yeah, Squid.
Yeah, he's dope. I never heard of him before until that song, but like he has some balls in there that complements Shaheem's verse. Just a great song. Definitely one of my favorites on this album as well.
I feel you.
Yeah, this is a dope song right here. Like I didn't realize I didn't really know what the sample was until just now, and I feel like they both shine very well. Like they went at it so perfectly with this. Like everything from the beat and the bass line, it like this song went hard.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. I'm gonna let y'all go to do Real Bad Boys without me because I got some water boiling at the moment. I'll be right back. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, the Real Bad Boy. It starts off with like I thought it was a skit, but it's actually like a guy that was like, it sounded like he was freestyling, and then you hear like some 70s type player, like Superfly type of music in the background, and then the beat drops. I thought it was a dope beat. It had a nice bass line to it, and I like the part where Shiny says, "I wear black and keep my ID on the low. I'm all about making dough at a fast tempo." And I thought that was a dope joint, real bang track. Shiny did his thing on here, definitely.
Real Bad Boys, it was an alright song, but I don't consider it as a favorite of mine. I'll just say it was a pretty decent song. That was it.
Definitely. Shiny sounded great, like the maturity in his voice sounded more confident, and like the tone, the voice just fit better on a lot of these tracks compared to like the first album where he sounded like a little kid or whatever. But he definitely did his thing on this track, definitely.
How old was he when he did this?
I want to say he was about maybe 16, 17. I know when he came out with the Rugged Child, I think he was 13 at that time. So I want to say he was like 16 or 17 when this album dropped. And then he was doing a lot too. Like he was already acting when he was doing this album as well. So he had a lot on his plate.
Yeah.
You know, definitely a great album. Yeah. I forgot who produced this song. I know Ray probably wrote it down. I didn't write it down.
Um,
But I know like RNS did production, the vocal production. He did the GP Woo album, and LES did Shaolin Style. LES did stuff for Nas and Cormego, Queensbridge artists, and RZA did a hidden track, or well, not, it's not a hidden track. It's the last track on here, and DR period. You know, he did stuff for MOP and he did stuff for Smooth the Hustler, Trigger the Gambler. He did like two tracks on here for Shyheim, which is banging. So the production is great as well. I think not just the lyrics, but the production is as well is good on this album. You know, shout out to Pop the Brown Hornet. Pop the Brown Hornet. That's his name.
Okay.
Man, shout out to him.
Did he drop anything? Cause I don't know who he. I'm not really familiar with him either.
I think he dropped like a full like retail album, but he has like mixtapes. I know he dropped a mixtape on Ian last year. Like he's always doing music. So and he was a part of the GP group as well.
Okay. Who y'all talking about?
I was talking about Pop the Brown Hornet. Like he asked me if he dropped any albums. You know.
Shit. Pop the Brown Hornet. Okay. Yeah. Give me one more sec. I'm trying to fix my laptop charger and shit. So Real Bad Boys, definitely a very dope track right there. Everyone knows that sample, that Edwin Starr sample that was used from everybody from Ice-T to DMX, in my opinion. Yeah, very dope track. So yeah,
that's the sample I was talking about. I know I heard it on like It's Dark and Hell is Hot. It was on that album and it's been used with a lot of other albums. But I didn't know the name of the sample.
oh yeah, man, like the sample that DMX uses for that song, that's definitely one of my favorite DMX songs and shit. He just killed that crap. I need to talk about Flesh My Flesh one day, man. I gotta get that album and shit. But yeah. Alright, so y'all fuck with Real Bad Boys?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're gonna get into what makes the world go round with DV alias Christ, Rubber Bands, Smooth the Hustler, and Trigger the Gambler. I'm just gonna say this once and for all. Smooth the Hustler, Trigger the Gambler, and DR Period were the original three-headed monster. I'm sorry. I love Dre, Eminem, and 50. I love Aaliyah, Timbaland, and Missy. But DR, Smooth, and Trigger, when it comes to underground hip-hop, that's the three-headed monster right there. Like, we have to talk about Once Upon a Time in America one day. We gotta talk about that shit, but fucking dope track. I think this is probably my second favorite track off this album. In my opinion, as much as I love Shyheim, I felt like Smooth and Trigger definitely outshined him on this track right here. I mean, fucking, let me pull up some lyrics right quick, man. Like, first of all, that beat is so dark and so grimy and shit. Very dope track. Fucking Trigger with to throw the D8 trace off, ruckus click, cause the mystery, selling witch, cap killing, go down in history. You diss me, bail to you diss me, bail to relax the combat. I think he misspelled that, but I sit back when niggas throw raps. I be like, where you at? Smooth coming out with that. To book to rap to tracks to wax. When starts toss the headphones, the dead zone MCs get done since the grittiest square root. Like, these motherfuckers, man, like, on some real Brooklyn shit right there, like. And I have recently heard that fucking Trigger the Gambler album, and I really want to talk about that one day this year and shit like that. So, like I said, Def Jam, y'all definitely dropped the ball with that album. But yeah, what makes the world go round? Definitely very dope track. My second favorite song off this album.
I think like you said, like Trigger and Smooth definitely killed the song. They're brothers in real life, so like they feed off of each other's energy and bars, and I definitely feel like before Red and Meth, it was Smooth and Trigger. Definitely so underrated as a duo and as solo artists. The verse, I don't even know what verse I'm gonna quote. But I wrote the verse. I wrote like stuff from Trigger's verse and stuff from Smooth. Smooth, I love his verse. He says at the his second verse, he says, "My house the best. When I be rapping, I be packing so many niggas in clubs. Fire marshals got me on house arrest. 1970 something, February 8th. This little nigga be packing big, but I ain't got faith. Fire. Um, Trigger's verse where he says, the gun face off. The street smart nigga that got rid of the serial numbers off the burners to throw the DA trace off. Then in the verse two, he says, the bitch fucker, the thug cop ducker, the block under my belt tucker, the wild motherfucker.
Mm.
Fire joint, fire track. And then you got DV Alias Christ in the chorus, and he was like our East Coast version of Nick Dogg, because he had his little melodies in the choruses he
Yep.
did. Definitely a great song. Definitely one of my favorites on here. I didn't even like pay attention to Rubber Band's verse on here or Shyheim, but that smooth track definitely stole the show on this track, and the beat was so grimy by DR Period, and that he was always known for like his real street grimy, dark beats. Love it, man. Great track.
For real, man. DR is definitely an underrated producer too and stuff like that when it comes to East Coast hip hop. I never hear him get mentioned a lot.
Yeah, what makes the world go round? It was a cool song here. Who was the one singing the chorus off here?
Oh, DV Alias Christ.
Okay, yeah, he like remind me a little bit of Nate Dogg in a sense, even though the East Coast version of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does he have anything out?
He DV I don't know if the album ever came out. I know he had an album that was supposed to drop in like around that time, like 95, 96. But I don't know if it ever came out as well. Look, I know they like those labels they were under. They were like just being janky with them. Like DV, Trigger Gambler album never got came out, and he was on Def Jam. Smooth, the only one that came out with an actual album. And I know DV. I remember hearing DV. He had came out with a single because like they had blew up around that time with my You Can't Go For That or for the Nutty Professor soundtrack.
Yeah.
That was a big hit. And he had an album that was done, but I don't know if it ever dropped. I never seen it in stores or anything.
Mm. Yeah, man, that's crazy, but yeah. Also, I wouldn't have even minded if this was also on the Once Upon a Time in America too, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
DR was like their in-house producer, so he did all the albums for them, all the hit singles.
Yep.
He had booked in his own right as a producer, and he went off and did stuff for MOP and AZ and stuff. And I definitely agree with you, Rich. Like he is an underrated producer, and he still got it. He still got this beats, and I don't know, he just never been talked about. He got lost in the shuffle when it came to producers. When we had like Eric Sherman doing his thing, and Just Blaze that came out, and you had so many great producers. Teddy Riley was doing his thing, Jermaine Dupri was doing his thing down south, and you had Dre on the West Coast and Quick and them. So he just got lost in the shuffle. But I definitely feel like he is an underrated producer.
Aye. Well said. Very well said. Can you feel it? Jesus Christ. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Like, this was. I'm just gonna say it once. This is Bad Boy Syndrome all over. I mean, it's not a bad track, but it just does not. There's some songs on this album where, in the second half, most definitely he was trying to go for that bad boy kind of sound. What I mean, females singing in the background. Hardcore flavor, but at the same time trying to be like a play at the same time too. The Biggie syndrome, what Biggie was doing, a lot of cats was doing, and while it's my least favorite track off this album, on some real shit, and it has a lot to do with that fucking chorus, like, can you feel it? Can you feel it? And all of a sudden, or do I gotta cock my pistol? I'm like, what? What the fuck? It's an R&B kind of track, but this nigga's all still on some
Yeah.
street shit. And I don't mind MCs that do it, but come on, it gotta be right with it. Like naughty by nature, they did it right, in my opinion. This
Right.
song is not a favorite. Nah, I love Shyheim, but I don't fuck with this song like that. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Like I thought it was fucking Total singing or some shit.
Yeah, he had a lot of those type of songs on here, like a lot of like radio friendly R&B influenced songs. But I don't know, like I'm guessing it's because like his voice matured, so
Yeah,
it's like maybe they felt like like his voice goes well over those type of beats. You
true.
know what I mean? Like you said, like some people could kill it, like Naughty by Nature. They definitely did those like smooth grooving type of beats. That was their thing, and AZ and people like that.
Az.
But this, yeah, like even now he's still doing it. You know what I'm saying? He sounds like it was like you hear him now. It's like he sounds like he's from '95 all over again. But I think like with songs like these, like this suffers from the Mike Geronimo syndrome. Remember he had that problem with Vendetta. That's the same problem as Shyheim was going through. It seemed like it was forced. Like this is not Shyheim. You know what I'm saying? Like some of these songs where it's like it sounds too clubbish or R&B. I'm like that's not Shyheim, though. You know what I'm saying? And he can't rock a song like that with starting it off like that. You know what I'm saying? You can't talk about guns when you're doing when you rapping over a smooth groove like that. You know what I mean?
So
So it's just that I thought I liked the beat. The beat was used before famously by Father MC from One Night Stand off his second
oh
album.
god, I can't stand Father
Love that
MC.
album. I've always been a Father MC fan. I saw him live in concert. I like that song, but
Fake ass
but
Big Daddy Kane.
it wasn't it wasn't sampled right. I don't think it sounded right for Shyheim on this song. Like you gave that to like AZ or somebody like that, maybe even Mike Geronimo, it would have killed it. But it didn't sound right for Shyheim. It just sounded like it was like a forced one of those forced like songs like, oh, we're gonna put this on here. Maybe the radio will play it, maybe they won't. But I don't think it was his type of track. I think he sound better on like, Shaolin style and songs like that, shit is real. I didn't like him on this joint.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Because with Shaolin style, even though the beat definitely had like a radio friendly kind of beat, it wasn't to the point where it's like commercial. And
Right.
I'm so glad he did not make this as a single. I'm so glad.
Right. Like Shaolin style it had that smooth groove, it was melodic, but it was still rugged enough where he can do his thing on.
hmm
But like a blatant attempt at like the club. Yeah, like a couple of them on here. I'm like, that's not Shyheim though. He wasn't like a club type of artist. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
So it was like I don't know, like maybe the record label said, well, being that he was on Virgin Records, maybe they said, well, we're gonna try to promote you in a not so thuggish way. You know what I'm saying? Because he had, he was rocking the baggy jeans and the gold medallions, and he had the hair like in the cornrows, and sometimes it was out, and maybe that was their thing. So like, the first album was the Rugged Child. He came off rugged. He came off more street on the first one, and then the second one they're like, oh, we're gonna give you some radio friendly joints, and being that you're starting to act now, maybe we'll push you out there like some hood, poster boy or something. You know what I mean? For the women or whatever. So I
Mm.
think that's what it was.
Exactly, exactly. Mm.
Maybe with this song here, can you feel it? I guess they were trying to push him to do something different instead of like doing that the thuggish persona on this album. Maybe let him do like a little R&B infused track right here. But I get what y'all saying too, because it's like when you think of Shyheim, you really think of him like him being affiliated with Wu Tang and having and spitting his flow the way he does with on certain tracks. And when you think of this one, you really don't think you really can't see him doing anything like this because, in my opinion, this track sounds like it could have been off like a Bad Boy album. It
Right,
does, man.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Because I get what y'all saying. Because when you hear the chorus and stuff like that, it is like a feel good track on one hand, but it's like, yeah, you can see it being like done by a bad boy artist, not
Right.
someone like Shyheim.
Nah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad song, but it just I think would have been better with somebody else to do it.
True.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to piggyback what Ashley said about the commercial appeal, you know, Wu Tang, they did have some commercial songs, but at the same time, it wasn't overexposed. Like even at their golden
Mm-hmm.
age, and what I mean by that golden age, I mean '93 up until '97. Like Method Man, and Mary J. Blige, All I Need to Get
Right.
By. That was
Yeah.
the remix. Even the remixes alone, it had like that Puffy remix. Then they had the Razor Sharp remix, like, and then even the album version was all different and shit like that. Raekwon, Ice Cream, another dope track right there. Hell, I would even throw in Shimmy Shimmy Ya, Old Dirty Bastard and shit. I'll throw in that.
Yeah.
And it just always had that street mentality. But with the success of, Ready to Die at that time too and shit like that, a lot of East Coast cats at that time, with the success of that and just definitely how Puffy was just, and I would definitely even throw LL Cool J's Mr. Smith album too in a way, because Trackmasters, they definitely was like the opposite side when it came to the whole bad boy sound too. So it just all depends, what's trendy or what's commercial at that time too.
Right.
You had Nas Escobar. He was in the Nas Escobar wave at that time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like, yeah, like rap was getting more commercial at that time, even before when Puffy got big with No Way Out. But we still was in like it was like the mafioso rap was getting real popular at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like I think I remember hearing like Method Man didn't even like doing that remix of Mary. He didn't want to do the
He
remix
did.
of Mary J.
Really?
And
That's why, like
yes,
in the video, that's why he was high off angel dust or some shit on the video and shit like that.
What?
Yeah, like the scene where he's coming off the sewer and his whole eyes are fucked up and shit. You can tell the niggas high
Yeah,
off some.
I didn't know he was high off that, but
Yeah.
yeah. So it was like a lot of those like the labels were forcing some of these artists to do that, like to make a radio friendly song. Like okay, if you want your B-side being released, we want you to release a radio friendly joint for the club or club joint or whatever, and then you could release whatever. But it was like it was hit and miss with some artists. Like it didn't work for some artists like Mike Geronimo. It didn't work for Shyheim. But it was like I like for me like I don't think Wu Tang like when it comes to the first album, I don't think they planned like to do radio friendly joints. Like Protect Your Neck happened to get on the radio by chance. They didn't plan on making that a radio song or Cream or Can It All Be So Simple. It's just that the samples, the way that RZA hooked up those samples, it was so infectious and it was so catchy that people remember that. You remember when you hear Cream for the first time. You remember when you hear, Method, METHOD Man or Can It All Be So Simple. So it was like I don't think they set out to make an album to get on the radio. Just that the buzz and the wave was so strong. It's just that you had to play it, and that's just what it was. And then they just blew up after that.
Exactly.
Everybody else just followed. You know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but that's too much. Can you feel it? And yeah, like I mentioned, try earlier. Like I always felt Father MC was just a G-rated Big Daddy Kane. I'm sorry, man. I might get some flack, but I was never.
No, you right. I mean, the thing with him is like I never looked at him like he was lyrical like Kane, but like he was like the rap R&B pretty boy. Like we knew what he was at that time. So like I liked his music, but I knew what he was at that time. I didn't know he wasn't like I wasn't gonna ever put him on a Mount Rushmore with G Rap and Kane, but I knew like for what he like Heavy D like what Heavy D did. He had his own lane and he did it well for Heavy D. And same thing with Father MC. Father, we knew what he was at that time and he did it well for what it was. But we knew he wasn't like no lyrical god. I mean, I knew he wasn't no lyrical god like that. So
True, true. Alright, but yeah, that's enough of that song. Now,
yes, next.
By the way, RNS produced this track too, which I'm kind of surprised though, cause I always thought LES produced this track, but I'm like, okay, whatever, whatever, man. Track number 9, Life as a Shorty. Now we're getting back to some real shit. Okay, so this was a fucking storytelling track right here. You know, it was talking about what was talking about? I was talking about, you know, a hustler who's been slanging. He's been slanging since the age of 12 and shit like that. You know, just what he goes through, and shit. Yeah, very dope track right here. This was produced by Tone Capone. Yeah, Tone Capone. And it uses that classic roots, that cream sample. You know, life as a shorty shouldn't be so rough. Yeah, not one of my favorites, but definitely a step up from Can You Feel It?
Yeah, not one of my favorites, and it had like a G Funk influenced sound. You know, the
Yeah.
West Coast was big, whole
Mm-hmm.
G Funk at that time, taking over all the airwaves on the coastal, on the whole coast, and I like it. I like this the lines where he says, "Me and my people swarm packs, some rap, others sell crack to get stacks." You know, it was cool. It was like again another different sound for Shyheim. You know, and I thought it was a cool song.
Yeah, man, no doubt about that.
Yeah, this wasn't a bad song. It was pretty much basically Shaheem telling the story. With this, of course, being a drug dealer at a young age and all that stuff. Yeah, really was a step up from Can You Feel It? Because this is more him than that last track. to be
Can you
to keep it
feel it?
real, hey, yeah, yeah, but it wasn't a bad track. I'll give it that.
Yeah, man. Now we have Don't Front slash Let's Chill, featuring Lamisha Greenstead and Mila. Oh, Camila Williams. Yeah, let me say that. Camila Williams. She was from the group 702. You guys should know 702. Get It Together. Rest in peace to Orange Grinstead, by the way. Um,
Yeah.
this one was another one of those tracks where he was trying to go for that radio kind of mainstreamish kind of song, R&B ish, but it's it's decent. You know, it's like one of those love songs, kind of. You know, I want to chill with my shawty and shit like that. I felt the beat saved the song, so yeah, that's one thing I can say about that.
Yeah, I like the beat. I've kind of like in my head I was like that sounded like 702, but I wasn't sure. But that's another underrated R&B group in my opinion.
Mm.
But I definitely I don't like the song. I don't know what Shine was like trying. It has a like a lovey-dovey type of, I don't know, like maybe Shaheem. I mean, he was a teenager. Maybe he was in his hormones when he did these songs. But I really think that's his thing. You know?
Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. This is another one of those tracks out here that just really doesn't suit Shaheem for an album like this. Just to keep it real, it. I mean, the song isn't terrible. Like Rex said, the beat is what saved it and all, but it's kind of like what y'all were discussing a little earlier. Like certain artists, like certain radio, I guess, friendly tracks that they have to do or supposedly do in order to like keep like if they want a boost in album sales or whatever is what it is, and I guess that's what they were trying to do with this. But it's not a terrible song, but not a favorite of mine. But I had no idea. One of the girls singing on here was from 702. To be honest, I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just certain songs like that I can't
Sound like
imagine.
him.
Yeah. It's just certain songs like this I can't imagine Shaheem doing an album with stuff like this. It does give you that lovey-dovey type feel to it, you know. And I don't think that suits him.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm not even a 702 fan like that either. Like,
Me either. Me either.
oh damn, I'm surprised. I mean, I like that.
No, no.
I thought
I
they was
don't
good.
know
I
what
thought
one of
they
their biggest songs is a hit on the radio because they played one of their songs earlier this week, but I wasn't really a big 702 fan myself either. So
Yeah, I did like that song they did with Subway. Let's play a little game of you go hide and let me see.
that's the one that
Yeah,
this week. That one.
that's my shit though. That's my shit. That video is cringy as hell though. 702 like 12 years old walking like they're them bitches and shit. And then that one lead singer who was trying to do all that extra Michael Jackson esque shit.
Yeah.
Let me stop. But that's like the only time I like 702. But other than that, I got kind of tired of Get It Together. I mean, I heard it on that one Sister episode when they were all
Same
arguing.
here.
Yeah, that was a funny episode, man. But I'm a fucking fool, man. Shit. Alright, next track, Things Happen. This song reminds me a lot of Jay-Z's Politics as Usual from Reasonable Doubt. And I'm saying that with very as a compliment because it definitely has that drug dealing gone bad feel to the song. You know, it's a story slash cautionary tale and shit like that. Basically this hustler, you know, he's in the streets and shit like that, you know, trying to make a play, but he ends up, you know, it will end up being a bad play, and he's all of a sudden on the run from the police. Like, definitely very dope tracks, dope track and stuff like that. Um, I love the last line he's talking about. Once I was like, turn yourself in and do the time. Yo, fuck that. The pigs wanted 5. Tell my moms I love her and stay strong and don't fall. I'm in the hands of the Lord. Like, that shit give me chills to this day. Very dope track right here. Very dope track, you know.
Yeah, I thought it was a decent beat, the bass line. Um, when he says, so keep your eyes open and beware of the ruckus, cause life ain't nothing but 30 greedy motherfuckers. Thought it was a dope song and a more serious, song over his album. Had like more serious song. Thought it was cool.
I feel you.
Yeah, Things Happen was a good song here. Good beat, bass line. Um, I like this better than the last song. To be real, yeah, it's more tailored to Shyheim style,
Yeah.
and yeah, this is another one that's growing on me a little bit.
Right, right. Yeah, man. Like, as good as this song is, it could have been in the first half of the album, if you ask me. But
Or what, like a single at least?
I mean, like, just the way how it was sequenced. 'Cause I felt like, you know, like I mentioned, everything up to What Makes the World Go Round definitely had that street flavor, and then everything from Can You Feel It onward, it had like a mixture of, you know, the great R&B ish flavor tracks and like the street flavor tracks too and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I felt like, in my personal opinion, how things happened, that could have definitely been on the first half of the album, just the way how it was sequenced. But it is what it
Mm-hmm.
is. Um,
Right.
track number 12, See What I See. This is a track that was once again produced by Dr. Period. Very dope, very 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 dope track right here. Yeah, just pretty much, you know, conventional Shyheim song and stuff like that. You know, drug dealing, life in the streets, pretty much that. You know.
I like it. I like the beat by DR Period. Definitely a hard beat. The bass line, the piano sample. You got DV alias Christ on the chorus singing. The part where Shine says, "I'm Kaiser Sose, the notorious killer, last seen in the Hiller in the Black Villa." So I thought it was dope. Like I said, like I love DR Period's production. I wanted to say before that I said Just Blaze, but to me I feel like Just Blaze is like like a understudy of DR period. The way that he used to use like the piano, the organs and the pianos and the hard bass lines and drums for his production when he did stuff with the Rock. I look at Just Blaze as like the second coming of DR period. But
Interesting.
like I said, like, DR period was got lost in the shuffle with like all the underground producers, the Nick Wizzes and the Mark Hawks and all of those underground producers from back in the day. Easy LP and producers like that. I definitely like this track. I feel like maybe they could have added like a Trigger the Gambler verse as well to this song. But
True.
it's a dope joint. Like to hear Shyheim over a DR period joint, it was dope.
Right, man. Like fucking DR at that. DR at 96 alone, man. That's what I'm gonna say.
Sure.
Yeah, this song was a pretty much a very grimy street song, and even though I don't consider it as a favorite, I'll give it that it's a very dope song. And and what was the name of the producer for this track here?
DR period.
DR period.
Okay, okay. Does he have has he worked with other artists other than Shaheem, or has he
Yeah.
dropped anything,
Yeah.
or
Eh,
okay,
Yes. He's worked with a lot of different artists. The rap R&B. He's worked with a lot of different artists.
like his best shit alone with MOP deserves a mention.
Definitely.
Like the first album was pretty much produced by him, and that's like MOP's most hardcore album. That album does not get mentioned a lot when it comes to MOP heads. Like I love Firing Squad, I love the Warriors joint, but that fucking To the Death album, shit.
Yeah. Definitely.
That's like
That's early deep though.
for real. That's like I want to slap you in the face just for no fucking reason. Music and shit. Shit, man, but yeah, Ash. I would check out a lot of DR period stuff. Like it definitely has that street vibe to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I was saying, Ash. Like if you like a lot of the Just Blaze stuff from like the 2000s that he did for Jay and for State Property, you're gonna definitely love the All Periods production.
For real. Oh,
You
speaking of Jay, that song with MOP and Jay Z from the First Family for Life album, man, fire. The way they were rapping over that, I think that Rocky
Yeah.
song, yeah, fire.
Uh, Fall on Blaze.
Yep, that's the song right there. Thanks for that.
That's from the Rocky Eye of the Tiger. Eye of the Tiger, the Rocky theme song.
Yeah,
oh,
yes, sir. That was yeah, that was basically See What I See. Next track, Still There. Um, yeah, this track right here was pretty much like a tribute to his friend. I want to say, very kind of heartfelt song and shit like that. I want to say a tribute to a friend who was a girl, some shit. I think she was either locked. I don't know. Yeah, it was pretty much one of those songs. I don't know what really happened to it and shit like that, but pretty cool song. One of those emotional kind of songs and shit.
It had that melodic, slow '90s R&B vibe to it. Like to me, that was like his like version of like like doing his own rendition of One Love. You know what I'm saying? Like Nas had his own version, and Shaheem had this own version. He's talking about like writing, being incarcerated and writing, letters to his loved one. And I didn't like the beat though. I just thought the beat could have been different. I'm like, you can't do like your own rendition of One Love, and then you got like an R&B type of beat to it, and it just sounded off. But I don't know. I
Well,
just thought he could have a different beat.
Mom Deep's Temperature Rising from the Infamous, that was
Right.
pretty much the same topic, and that the R&B vocals and the beat kind of had like an R&B feel to it, but it had a rugged street style
But
to it.
that was a banging. That's a banging ass beat that Havoc did, and you got Crystal Johnson singing on that joint.
Yes.
Shaheem needed like that. He needed a beat like that. Then I would have been like, yo, this shit is classic. But he didn't have that. It sounded too R&B-ish on. I don't know, like the beat just didn't fit his storytelling on the song.
Yeah, that Temperature's Rising shit. Whoo!
And the remix for that. The remix of that is fire.
Remix, the OG version, man, come on.
Okay.
And Q-Tip produced both One Love and Temperatures Rising. That's crazy.
Yep.
And pretty much Havoc was pretty much Q-Tip's understudy if you think about it.
Right. Maybe Shyheim needed Q-Tip for this song because I'm like I didn't like the beat for it.
True. Oh shit.
Yeah, still there. I get where Shaheem's come from. I guess I don't know, maybe he was just writing a song about a female that he misses or something like that. I don't know about all the details like that, but yeah, I mean the song was good, but yeah, it came off as like another like an R&B infused song off here as well. But yeah, if the beat was different, maybe the song would have worked better.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion on that.
Yeah, I feel y'all on that and shit like that. But I'm gonna talk a lot about that during the end of the review and shit. So, and the last track, Young Gods, and that's another posse cut that features Killer Sin, Madman, Rubber Bands, and Raekwon. That's the Lonely RZA production on this project. RZA always gotta have that one lonely production during the end of almost every Wu album and shit. Just to remind people, hey, I'm still producing for the Wu. Let me stop. I love RZA, but he pisses me off sometimes. But yeah, this is pretty much another posse cut right here. I actually kind of like this a bit better than the Five Elements joint, but Five Elements alone is another dope one. Um, fucking, they all did their thing to be real. Like they all fucking did their thing, but Killer Sin, I'm just saying, Killer Sin. Man, like that nigga right there, like, keep your head up, Killer Sim. Nigga said keep him stepping with more lethal weapons than Danny Glover. I cock back action pack raps and gats. Niggas trading mats for prats. People react to RZA sharp tracks like this nigga. Fucking Like if he wasn't locked up, this would have been a problem and shit. Like he could have had Capadonna's place if he had, but that's another story for a different day.
Definitely a great track, dope RZA beat, and you hear Raekwon is actually talking on it like start of the song, and then you hear him like the background, and RZA is on the chorus, and I feel like this is another track on this album where Shyheim gets outshined with his own song by Killer Sin. Definitely underrated lyricist from Wu. The lines he says, increase the war, fuck the peace, make shit hot like rocking tube socks at Jones Beach in the summer. Number one gunner, run for cover. Keep stepping with more lethal weapons than Danny Glover. Fire.
Whew.
Fire. That was the start of this song. Like I agree. I would have loved to hear more RZA produced tracks for Shyheim, and he's for some reason he's done that in the past where he's only given Shyheim like one or two tracks. Never produced the whole album from him. I don't understand that, but I'm guessing it has something to do with the flood that he's had in the past at his house or whatever. But
Yeah.
I feel like if you could imagine like a RZA produced Shyheim album, that probably would have been a classic album. Like at that time, because he was still in his bag at that time.
Yeah, I would throw in a little Fourth Disciple there too. Had like one or two tracks there too with RZA co-producing and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I always felt like out of all the producers, RZA worked with him and Fourth Disciple made some of the best shit for the Wu.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, Young Gods. It was a great way to end off the album, but then too like you kind of wish I guess it was like up on the track listing with all the other street songs on here as well, if that makes sense. But yeah, I was surprised RZA did only produce just this one song here. I'm like, I mean, he could have at least done more. I mean, he could have produced some more songs. I mean, is that's not a bad thing? Shoot.
I agree, but around that time you gotta also remember 95, 96, RZA was doing like Liquid Swords, Cuban Links, Return to 36 Chambers, Iron Man. Not even counting the affiliate albums he was doing too, and the shit that happened even before that those floods happened. So it is what it is. I guess he wanted the affiliate Wu members to shine too, you know.
Oh.
But yeah, man, that's the fucking Lost Generation. Overall, when comparing this album to AKA The Rugged Child, it's like comparing night and day. I feel like with the Rugged Child, it definitely had that nighttime feel to it. Whereas this one, it has that early dawn feel to it. You know what I'm saying? And both albums definitely have their pros and their cons. Now, with this album, I fucking loved how he was maturing with a lot of the topics off this album. His voice wasn't as high as it was. It was not. It was developed, you know, and shit like that. His pen game was still on point. Um, he definitely did his thing with the lyricism on this track. The street lyricism was just so dope. But the bad part about this album was just the attempts at the radio airplay songs, like, of course, with "Can You Feel It," um, "Don't Front, Let's Chill." While not all was bad, not all was spectacular, as you know, the high moments like "Shaolin Style" and "What Makes the World Go Round" and shit like that. And I felt like with this album, it pretty much. One thing I can respect about this album, he didn't want to force people saying, "Hey, I'm older now," like quote unquote crisscross with the Bomb album. Which stay tuned for that one. But I felt like, you know, with he definitely progressed with this
album.
You said what?
Are you really gonna sit on the Christmas album?
I've never heard it. I've never heard it. But when I do a review on it, we gonna do it together. Actually, we all might do it together. I'm gonna hear it one day and shit like that. But yeah, man, like I said, I'm not the biggest crisscross fan, but they I respect them. Let's just say that. And so, Shyheim definitely did his thing with this project. This album is out of print, so but it's not expensive. Thank God for that. And I'm gonna bless you. And I'm gonna cop it real soon, like once my money's good. But yeah, I just wanted to do this because, you know, Shyheim got released and everything like that, and no one really talks about this. They only want to talk about The Rugged Child, and shit. Not a lot of YouTube reviewers talked about this album. So, Shyheim, Lost Generation.
I definitely feel like the album is great. You know, the great production from RNS and DR Period and LES. You got RZA giving them a track. You know, Peter the Lord and you know, his voice matured and it sounded like he was maturing and becoming a young adult and tackling issues of police brutality and, you know, and hating ass niggas and, you know, shorties and all that. And, you know, yeah, the radio from the joints, I get it. I feel like I said, like I feel like that's probably like a record label thing. They're probably trying to push him as a hood sex symbol or something, or like, you know, let's get him to talk more about, you know, do some songs for females, you know, because Raekwon did Ice Cream and Method Man did, you know, the All Units of Mary,
Right.
you know, and you got the pop joints. I love those. GP Woo and Smooth and Sugar did their thing, and Killer Sin. You know, kicking knowledge on joints, and I thought it was a great album. I love my favorite track to be Shit Is Real and Shaolin Style. What Makes the World Go Round, Five Elements, See What I See, and Young Gods. Thought it was great. Also, Shyheim was also featured on the Killer Bees Sing album.
Yes.
This I forgot what year was this. This is 2002 on Cox Records.
Yeah.
And he's all over this album. He's like on like 4 or 5 songs. You know, his tracks done by Fourth Disciple, and the one RZA track that he gave him is called When You Come Home, and he's talking about his homeboy coming home from jail and all that, and when he come home he's gonna like, you know, take him out to the strip club and he's gonna blow dollars and all this shit. But this is an underrated Wu-Tang compilation album, and I definitely like it. I know it's slept on. Some people prefer the Swarm over this one, but I think this was dope as well. You know, you got Black Knights on here and Timbo King and North Star, Civil Rings, a lot of Wu Tang affiliated artists on here, as well as Shyheim and ODBs is on here. There's a bonus CD as well on here. It's a double joint, but this is also out of print. But I just wanted to throw that in because Shyheim is all over this compilation as well.
I feel you. Yeah, I've heard that Wu album years ago. I need to re-listen to that and shit.
Yeah. He also got my bad actually. He also got on the bonus this. He also had RZA had he has a rendition of the Isaac Hayes what's that Walk On By.
Yep.
He actually did that over with Isaac Hayes band.
Yeah. Are you talking about the one with Ghostface? I can't go to sleep, or are you talking about the full-on Walk On By?
No, it's an instrumental, but it's like he's rhyming on it for like the first couple of minutes, and then it's like it goes into full instrumental mode. It's like maybe I want to say it's like maybe 6 or 7 minutes long.
Okay, I gotta peep that.
Yeah, because it's like it's a double joint. It's on the bonus. It's on the bonus. This is the actual album for the thing, and then you get like the bonus disc also on the other side of it. So it's like 2 joints, but it's a limited edition one. But that it's out of print. But definitely you get your hands on it, check it out. I feel like it was a solid Wu-Tang compilation joint. We got Shyheim on a couple tracks, RZA doing some tracks, and Wu-Tang is on there as well. They had the first single on it. I forgot what the name of that joint. It was the Killer Bees joint. It was Wu-Tang Clan and RZA, Bobby Digital, and there's a whole bunch of people. Whole Cloud is on there, a whole bunch of Lord Superb, rest in peace to them. A whole bunch of Wu-Tang artists on there, and I like it. I think it's definitely something.
Yeah, definitely gotta peep that again.
Yeah, this is my first Shyheim album I've ever listened to. Like, I mean, there was a lot of good stuff on here that I liked. I liked the first one, Shit Is Real, 5 Elements, Things Happen, Life Is a Shorty, Still There, stuff like that. Some of it was good, but I feel like I guess the record label, as well as like any other record label, when it comes to certain artists or whoever, they try to get them to do like a radio friendly or a radio friendly song, just so I guess it'll probably like catapult down to a certain peak, if you will. But yeah, like I said before, some stuff works for him, other stuff I just can't see him do. Like Can You Feel It, and there was that other track off here that we mentioned.
Let's chill.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that does not suit him at all. I'm sorry. Yeah, I just can't see him doing like R&B infused songs like that. Yeah. Overall, this was a good album.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna give this project a 4 out of 5.
Same. Definitely. I think I would have gave it a classic if we didn't have the 2 R&B joints on there, but I definitely think it's a solid album, and definitely like Rich said, like nobody talks about this album. I don't even think they like when it comes to discography, they only talk about Lucky Child. They don't even talk about Man Child, even though that was a shelved album. I think Man Child was a dope album too.
I gotta hear that. I never heard that album actually, so
yeah, and I definitely think he's one of the slept on ones in the clan. There's a lot of them, so he's not the only one.
Okay. Bet. Alright, so before I end this review, 'cause I do have to call my mom before she goes to bed, I want to show you guys a few things. I have one other album I wanted to share you guys that was in my collection vid, but it came a little late, and that is Freddie Gibbs and Madlib with the fucking Bandana album that dropped last year in 2019. This was released on ESGN, Keep Cool, Mad Invasion, RCA. You guys should know who Freddie Gibbs is. You guys should know Madlib. They dropped the Pinata album together back in, I want to say, 2014, which I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. I like it, but I don't think it's amazing as a lot of people made it out to be and shit. But and I'm not like the biggest Freddie Gibbs fan too. I mean, he's dope lyrically. He's a dope rapper, but niggas sometimes be like, oh, he's like the Tupac of our generation. I'm like, no. Let's not start this.
Don't jump the gun on that one.
Fucking some, them hip hop DX users, they want to say because he's like Tupac of a generation and stuff like that. Which I like Freddie Gibbs, but let's not start this train again, please. But
don't jump the gun, folks.
For real. And so this whole album came out. There was like a lot of hype around this album and stuff like that. Like I'm gonna say, this is a very dope album. I actually like this a bit more than Pinata and shit like that. Madlib actually made all of the beats on his iPad, which it kind of definitely says something and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So, singles album is known for Flat Tummy Tea, Crime Pays, fucking love that track, and Giannis and shit like that. A lot of cats have said like this was among the best hip hop album of 2019, which I might have to do a list one day, a list about the best hip hop albums of 2019, probably one day, and shit like that, because 2019 was a good and it was a year for hip hop too. So stay tuned on that. But yeah, man, Bandana, Freddie Gibbs, and Madlib, 2019 must have in your collection.
And it also gonna be at Coachella this year on Saturday night. They're gonna be performing.
Yeah, I heard about that shit too. Yeah,
check that out.
I got one more thing to show y'all too. So I decided, like, I've been doing some collecting. I want to do some different things, and I decided to have a new collection one day. Started collecting old Source magazines and Vibe magazines and shit. And I'm thinking about doing a collection vid sometime early part of this year about some old Source album magazines I have. And as you can see here, this is the exclusive issue when Dr. Dre left Death Row Records. Dope magazine cover. Ironically, it has a promo of Above the Law's Time Will Reveal album in the back, which, I'm sorry, this album was okay. It wasn't as strong as the first three albums. I felt like some of the beats were kind of boring, though. But that was around the time when Ruthless Records was going through a transitional period, with the whole Tamika Wright. But that's another story for a different day. So yeah, I'm definitely going to show off what I got for my Source and Vibe magazine. I got some more coming in the mail and shit. Some of these, I'm just going to be real, some of these do cost an arm and a leg, but I kind of need it for some journalism stuff. Cause I'm thinking about doing some shit, but yeah, man. And I think when I talk about these Source magazines one day, I'm going to talk, you know how they do the fucking album mics thingamajig, so I might see if it's really worth 3 mics, cause I know I'm just gonna spoil it one day. I think they rated the fucking Cellar Dwellers album 3.5 mics and shit, which I was kind of surprised about. But yeah, just something I want to show y'all, some shit. And this Sunday, I got the perfect album we can review on a Sunday. Yep, the moment we've been talking about for eons and a while. Madonna's erotica review is this Sunday. I want to do it probably like around 11:30. I'll be getting off work around that time, so whenever I get off work, I'll just do it. So I just put like 11:15 on the safe side because life as a waiter and shit like that. That's crazy, but yeah, man. And it's a used copy, but it's still wrapped though. Just letting y'all know. And I want to give a slight mention to the sex book. I've been trying to look for a decent copy, but I'm gonna buy some rubber gloves first, because you don't know who jacked off to that shit. And fuck it, if I find a comic, I find it. If not, fuck it. But I just want to find it just to fucking have it. I don't know, but yeah, I don't want to see fucking Big Daddy. I don't want to see
You better
Kane's
off
cop.
getting a new one instead of a used one.
The new one's like a fucking $1,000. I'm not trying to pay no $1,000.
Oh, oh God, no.
Fuck that shit. But
Dang.
yeah, and I'm just gonna
If
let it.
you gotta get used, make sure it says very good or like new.
Oh yeah,
Not
yeah,
acceptable.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm also gonna look at
Yeah,
the.
not acceptable or just say good, because that could mean anything.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna definitely look at the seller feedback too, because you know some sellers be on some bullshit.
Yeah.
Are we allowed? I mean, yo, you know, when we do that episode, you're gonna have to definitely say it's not for kids because it's gonna that's like an adult room. The what we're gonna be talking about is adult.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
are we allowed to even like show pictures from the sex book on here or no?
I don't give a fuck. I'm showing everything on this fucking review. I don't give a fuck because YouTube is now doing this YouTube children policy recently and shit like that. How certain kids can't watch YouTube. I'm like, but my videos is like entertainment and
Yeah.
educational. So how do
Yeah.
so if you guys know about Madonna, she's a sexualized image and shit like that. That's all I'm saying, you know. And we
They want you to say that in the before you start the video, like it's not for kids or it's for kids or
Yeah, or
because
viewer
that's
discretion advised or something.
they can kiss my ass with that shit. To be honest, I mean, these kids are over here watching fucking like I said, they're watching all these fucking these poops and shit like that, these memes and shit like that, these vines and shit like that. If they can watch all this shit, they can handle a little dick and cock and pussy on this fucking album and shit. That's all I'm saying. And besides, I've said much worse on this. I reviewed like sexualized albums worse on this fucking album, like NWA's Niggas for Life and shit. Reviewed that album. Talked about what else? The amount of Prince albums I talked about. Let's not even go there. Let's not even go there. So I don't give a fuck what YouTube says at this point. I'm going in on this fucking review. I'm starting 2020 off with a bang. Fuck that. And that's gonna be my last review until I take my usual 1 month break. I take early in the month, but at the same time, I'm still gonna be helping try with certain reviews too, and I'm still gonna be working on the second episode of the beef series. Which thank you guys so much for the positive feedback for that first episode. This next episode, man, I'm be talking about Roxanne Shantae's Big Mama. I'm talking about that one. That's gonna be a juicy one. So, and I'm gonna do these like every monthly and shit like that. So I'll see how it is. And like I said, thank y'all so much for the positive feedback on that one. The LL Cool J Kumo D Beef definitely is a favorite of mine and shit. And another thing too, I'm definitely gonna re-review certain albums like this year. I'm gonna do 6 hip hop albums in the first 6 months and 6 R&B albums in the next 6 months, but they're only gonna be albums I reviewed from 2013 to 2015. I'm sticking to that time frame and shit because I know that a lot of people wanted me to review certain albums that I've already reviewed, so this will be a good opportunity to answer those questions and stuff like that too. And also, I feel like my opinion changed on certain albums too, so it's definitely gonna be a good look for me. You know what I'm saying? And hint, the first review is Capone and Noriega's The War Report, so be on the lookout for that one. Yes. Other than that, anything y'all want to talk about before I end off this video?
Did you see the Coachella lineup this year?
I saw bits and pieces. I know the baby is performing in it, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm.
Well, we'll see what happens with all his legal issues as he's going through.
Saturday night is like the trap night. That's like a lot of those, the baby and Travis Scott is headlining. That's like the trap night. The only ones I want to see on Saturday night is Freddie Gibbs and Madlib.
Yeah.
And Sunday is more like the R&B. You got Frank Ocean headlining. You got FKA Twigs. You got Daniel Caesar. A lot of R&B acts are going to be performing on the Sunday for that show. Friday, you got the Rage Against the Machine reunion.
Yes.
And then I definitely want to see Zach again with them. And You got Calvin Harris, for the EDM lovers, and there's some other artists performing on Friday night as well. But it's
Gotcha.
definitely looking for Sunday night.
Yeah, I'm just mostly interested in that Rage Against the Machine reunion because it's been years and years now. Like these motherfuckers, I feel like they have the potential to drop a classic album if they wanted to these days. Cause I feel like
Oh,
the what's the album? What's the album? Battle of the Los Angeles. I feel like this they had more to be
yeah,
said with that one. And if you ask my favorite album, it's definitely the first album and shit like that. That's my favorite. Just the raw production on that one. Even the album cover alone is so
okay.
fucking grimy and shit like that. Yeah, man, Rage Against the Machine. We definitely got to talk about them this year. Bar none, we
Yeah.
definitely got to talk about that.
I'm happy they finally got Zach Della Roca back in the group, man. That's long overdue.
Long overdue. And Zach's
Yeah,
a dope lyricist too. Like he's a dope
definitely,
rapper too. People don't fuck with his rapping, but he's a dope rapper. I don't give a fuck what no one says.
definitely. So
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that performance.
facts. Yeah, man. That first Rage, the self-titled joint, like Bullet in the Head, Killing in the Name. Oh my fucking, like that was like released around the time. That was when alternative metal was definitely at the peak and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I'm gonna definitely end the video off because I gotta call mom before she heads to bed and shit. Thank y'all so much for this one. This was a very, very, very dope review and shit like that. Sorry again, I was running late from this interview and shit, which I'm gonna definitely post some more interviews throughout my break too. So, cause I know I gotta post some stuff too. So be on the lookout for that. Like I mentioned before, the Lost Generation, 1996 on New Tribe Records. Yeah, man. Welcome home, Shyheim. It's been long overdue and shit. So, as always, this is your boy Reg in the building. Everyone have a good night and a happy new year. I'm also gonna be filming a review much later on tonight too. So I'm planning on dropping some reviews this weekend before Erotica just to get it out the way. All right. So make sure y'all have a good night. Peace.
Peace.